ever feel like a beetle going down an infinite slide while the void around you spins and swirls as you take your never-ending and inescapable journey to the belly of an indescribable beast? No? You're definitely missing out. Welcome to Thumper. Developed and published by Drool, Thumper is a rhythm game set in a Lovecraftian void that puts you in control of a sliding beetle tasked with avoiding walls and collecting colored pips along the way. Played across 9 different levels, from start to finish your interactions are limited to jumping on blue pips, hovering if you hold the button, and pressing left or right while pressing the jump button to avoid crashing into walls. This seems very reductive, but give me just 1 second, I promise. Despite being a rhythm game, there's not much actual music going on, so to speak. What really sets Thumper apart is how weird and unfamiliar the rhythms themselves are. This serves double duty. 1. It makes levels harder as it's very difficult to make sense of the rhythms for long. And 2. This ties the whole theme together, as the Lovecraftian environment just meshes extremely well with the unsettling and foreign sounds and beats. But how exactly are the rhythms weird? To begin with, most levels have very unconventional time signatures. While level 4 is in 4x4, level 5 is in 5x4, level 6 on 6x4, etc. What the fuck are you talking about, you might ask? Well, 4x4 is what you hear on most songs, and it goes something like this. 5x4 would be something like... And finally, 7x4 would be... What does this actually mean for you, the player? Probably not much, if I'm being honest, as even within a certain level, if you get used to the time signature, rhythms are absolutely mental with a ton of syncopation, very slight delays on certain notes that are there just to throw you off, etc. The developer is really mean in this department. However, every note you need to interact with is played a bit in advance and briefly flashes on screen beforehand, so you can react to what's coming right around the corner. What this all means is that you'll be mostly playing by ear and recognizing very small-scale patterns rather than feeling the overall beat throughout the level. This might seem a bit overly complicated and impossible to manage, but herein comes probably my favorite aspect about the game, which is the difficulty selection. I do have a soft spot for this particular subject, and in this case it doesn't involve any difficulty selection screen and is extremely modular and all up to how much you want to push yourself towards perfection. This is because, in reality, the only mandatory obstacles that can make you lose are walls and spike pits. Everything else is there purely for score and visual flair. So, if you want, you can just hold the jump button the entire time and just turn on walls. Or you can take it up a notch and try to hit every blue pip along the way. Or you can go for broke and try to hit every secondary objective, turn at just the right moment for a perfect turn bonus, slam down on blue pips by pressing down when hovering over them, etc. I love this approach to difficulty, because guess what the game tells you to do? It tells you to play it and have fun. No shaming for playing not how the developers intended. No recommended difficulty, nothing. As for longevity, and given what I just discussed, it will be mostly up to you. I set for myself to get an S rank on every level, and this basically equates to never crashing and hitting most of the prompts, even if not with perfect timing, and this took me around 13 hours. If you just want to beat the game, it's actually not that hard, as the mandatory obstacles aren't even that many, so you could probably be done in 5 hours or so. However, you can go the extra mile and try to absolutely perfect each level by nailing the timing on everything. Or you can go the extra mile and try that in New Game Plus, where there's absolutely no checkpoints, so just beating the level themselves becomes quite the challenge. Finally, and this is something I didn't try myself, but Thumper supports virtual reality headsets, which must turn this into quite the unforgettable experience. Word of warning for little babies like me if you have a VR headset. The boss at the end of each level is genuinely terrifying, and gets more and more fucked up as the game goes on, and I could easily see myself crapping my pants if I came across that beast in VR for the first time. As for downsides, I honestly don't have much, if anything, to say, as the game does what it set out to do very well. Maybe some aspects will not be to your taste, like lack of quote-unquote proper music or the very small number of inputs, but those clearly exist for a reason. All in all, Thumper is a one-of-a-kind experience that I would highly recommend. And that's enough from me. If you'd like to try a very unique rhythm game that will push you harder and harder, all the while immersing you in a creepy and unsettling environment, there's links to it in the description. See ya!